Okay, so some people thinking about Thanksgiving, that might be around the corner. And if your family's in your bubble and you're getting together, how do you think you're going to manage maybe some of those difficult conversations? So, The Guardian is writing about a story that's quite interesting, a woman who is having a falling out with her own mother due to what she perceives are her mother's racist
Mm.
views. How do you think we should handle this, ladies?
Wow. When you think of this, it's really interesting. These times, I feel like, have really shown people's true colors. And that involves our family members, that involves our closest friends who we perhaps have grown up with. And seeing some of people's true colors really makes you question whether you want to continue these relationships. Now, of course,
Hmm.
this being her mother, blood, we often hear blood is thicker than water and all these incidents. But listen, family fallouts happen regardless. This when we're not even talking about serious matters like this. They happen over money or just straight up drama. But this is a matter of the heart, right? This is a heart issue. When we're talking about racism now, it is what's actually showing what's in people's heart, and it's what shapes someone's character on who they truly are now. So for me personally, I feel like it doesn't matter if it's blood or friendships. This is something that should be alarming no matter what. And in fact, if my mother was like that, I would possibly or probably would seek out some counseling to make sure that that bloodline does not run through me, because that is very, very alarming. And,
Hmm.
in the end of it all, you have to protect yourself. You have to protect your own mental health, because I know for a lot of people, this has been very exhausting. And I don't think a family member should get a hall pass for their character, because let's remember, I feel like this is more of a character issue now.
I mean,
Mm.
say that, Sonia. For me, it's all about protecting your peace. And that goes
Yeah.
across the board. Guys, when we talk about our listening and learners, part of this, as we've all discussed and acknowledged, we're about to have some very uncomfortable conversations, but we're also going to have some very uncomfortable decisions. And that is with the people that we love most. These times, the last couple of months, have brought us exactly where people stand. And for me, I just have simply no time for it. I don't care how close we are at this point. The stakes are far too high. And, it's interesting to me in my life, I've had racist family members, racist, partners. My partners have had racist family members in their families. And at some point, how much is enough? How much do you have to confine who you are, what you believe in, what you stand for, your heritage, your bloodline, to make other people feel comfortable with you being in the space? At the end of the day, Sonia, as you said, it's all about who the person is. And if they do not align with where you stand, because let's be clear, this is not a political issue. This is human rights. And so if you are not on board with that, I have no problems walking away. And yes, that includes mom, dad, sister, son, all of the above. That's just how
Kayla, can I
far
jump
the stakes
in?
are. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Kayla, you're in an interracial relationship. I mean, this might hit you even a little differently.
Yeah, it most definitely does, because you have to have some real conversations. And Levi's father is white. And so when it comes to everything that's happened in the last couple of months, the last year, my lifetime, you have to have some incredibly serious conversations. And I don't think when you're parents of a biracial son, if you are not having those conversations, you need to do some checking, because these are things that come up. And one of the things I had to learn quick in a hurry with my relationship was I cannot protect my white partner. You cannot do that. That is not how this goes. You have to put everything on the table, constantly be checking in, constantly be doing resources, because at some point, the father of my son had to say, I can't use the fact that I am so closely tied to a black woman to escape from my responsibilities in society to do my important work in educating myself for my son.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. I mean, if you are the subject of racist or homophobic attacks, then no, this is not the work that you have to do. The work has to come from people who actually are not experiencing those types of things. So I actually think in this case, I'm presuming that this woman is not racialized who wrote about this, and neither is her mother. So I actually think it's incumbent upon her to try to educate her mother. Now, I think the approach is what matters. Like for me, I've had family members in the past who've expressed negative views towards gay people, the LGBTQ community. And so I remember being in my 20s and being initially incensed and outraged and yelling a lot. And then I found that what you just have is these two people yelling at each other. And so what I tried was a different approach. So instead of approaching constantly with anger, I would approach with information and gentleness. And that seemed to work. Like over the years, I put in that work, and now those relationships have been salvaged. Because the fact is that we know, we've talked about on the show before, racialized and gay people, they're exhausted for good reason. And it's up to us to start to do that work. I'll just go to Denise on Facebook, who wrote to weigh in on this. My oldest daughter was dating a guy. He made a racist comment. My husband told him to get out, and then turned to our daughter and said, "You were not raised that way." A week later, they split. Wow. So I guess sometimes you don't need to be quiet. Sometimes the loud approach works too.
Yeah, but here's the thing about family.
There's a prayer. There's a prayer. Remember that prayer for some people? God grant me the serenity to what is it? To accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And luckily, I have not had this in my immediate family, but I have lost a very near and dear friendship that I had since I was in senior kindergarten. And we got to a head. We tried, at least I can say, Sin, that I tried to the fullest extent to try to understand why the worsening extremist views that were anti-immigrant, becoming more pro-life, pro-gun, all of these things, I just didn't understand it. And I really tried hard to understand because we come from a similar background. Both of our parents are immigrants. We're both pro-life, we're both feminists, we're both anti-violence, anti-gun, you name it. And then something along the way switched with her, and she started to go the other way. And I thought I could kind of talk to her, bring her back to the center. She, in my opinion, is so far off that, guess what? As somebody said at the beginning, I think it was you, Sonia, I have to accept that, for my own mental health, I can't have this fight anymore. I've tried. You can bring a horse to water. She can't make a drink.
No.